Hey, how's everyone going? Hope all right. Here we have another slip joint, and this one is from SixLeaf. So, as you would probably guess, this is a rattlesnake design as well as all the others are. This is the SL-07, whereas SL-01 through 6 were also from them. The reason why I haven't shown my hands yet is, well, here we go. Yeah, I do like this one, kind of dark and red and black and whatnot. This other one kind of looks like fancy, shitty grape jelly. I don't know. I'm not super into it. So, yeah, it is what it is. I just haven't ripped it off yet. But it's right around Halloween, so I'm playing around with a couple of colors that might go along with my Halloween costume. But it all depends on how the Rona goes and if we're actually going to have a party this year or not. Alright, anyway, enough of all that crap. Let's get into the knife here. Now this has natural micarta on there. And you can see both sides, yep. You can also see that I have it labeled there so I can see it, even though it's peeking out on the blade there. It's just for me to be able to easily see it at a glance. Micarta on here is not too bad. It's kind of run-of-the-mill. Pretty hard, compacted kind of feel to it. And you can definitely tell that by the milling that you see kind of going down here on the front bolsterish area. And that is one heck of a lot of grip, and it doesn't feel like it's going to deteriorate or anything. And we don't really have any fluff coming out on anything, so they did a pretty darn good job with that. There we go. We got a nice thick and strong back spring there, and we have a little lanyard hole, loop, whatnot that you want to call that, there on the back. Now this has a nail neck, one side only, so it's not a matchstick pull, which is my current favorite for a lot of slip joints, but it still works pretty well for me to grab that and pull the thing open. And the first thing I kind of want to talk about is the finish that we got going on here. And that is basically a bead blast kind of finish. Jeez, I need to strap this thing too. Alright. But, yeah, very nice bead blast, possibly sand blast, that sort of thing going on there, which is a different finish than what you see on most other things right now, so that's pretty cool. This one in particular is an M390, which was the first ones that were available. I'm seeing slowly but surely some of them are trickling out with D2, and they're probably going to be a bit cheaper. The first one or two sold for quite a bit, but I did get this one somewhere in the 40s. And for that price, I really do think it's worth it. The steel on this was a giant pain in my ass to sharpen. And as you can see, I still have a little bit of a rolled edge or whatnot that I should probably strop out of that. That's okay. Probably the reason for that is because this thing is just a little bit too thin of a blade for me to end up clamping onto to one of those fixed angle sharpeners, both the KME and this. I can clamp it on there, but I don't have enough clearance for the 15-degree edge on each side that I want to do. So I basically did this on my Ken Onion with blade grinding attachment powered belt sharpener. And what I think I ended up messing up a little bit here on the end was using a powered leather strap on the end of that has some diamond abrasive in there. Whereas I don't really think I needed to go that far. I could have stayed with the ultrafine belts and then just hit it up on a strap myself. So, alright, there you go. Steel seems to be pretty darn good on this. I will get into some measurements right here, but I do think I also want to do a little bit of size comparison with some stuff that I actually have that's probably right around there that some people may have. As I've said in the past, this is basically the pattern of a Boker range buster, which, hey, this one's a Boker Magnum, but they also make it in Plus and the German variant. If you know, you got them deep pockets, them ducats, as some but not many call them. And there we go. We have the Spyderco Grasshopper right over here. Those are probably my best non-locking knives that a lot of folks might be familiar with. I should probably try and find a buck 112, or at least the non-locking version of it. Well, one of those sorts of things there. And now I'm rolling across my area here because I'm grabbing my measurement tools. There's the scale. Should have been prepared. You can probably tell that I was not in the military. Okay, so this is not a light knife. And a lot of times slip joints, especially when they have kind of a thicker steel stock going on there, kind of get that way from the solid spring that they have to have all the way down there. Yeah, 3.35 ounce, 94.5 grams. And, well, all right. Since I'm on millimeters, we'll go ahead and do that. So, yeah, we're at 3.2 millimeters for the blank stock thickness. Which, hey, that's not too bad. Generally, my favorites kind of for some slip joints, unless they're like really heavy bruiser kind of things, is usually somewhere around 2.5 millimeters. But, you know, a lot of companies and people have different ideas than I do. Obviously, why they're in knife design, and I'm probably not. There we go. We got 5.3 or 0.53 of an inch. Sorry. And as for the blade length there, we are just a touch past 3 inches. So I guess if you want to sharpen this once or twice, then it would be legal in a lot of European countries. But as it stands, it is just a touch over that 3-inch mark if, you know, the popo in your particular country doesn't particularly approve of, you know, a knife for someone with some larger hands. Yeah, again, I really do need to point out how much I do appreciate the sandblast or bead blast finish on here. It's just nice to see something different besides, well, mostly satin, but also stonewash, which, hey, at least for me, is a lot easier to reproduce. I do still kind of want to have a bead blasting setup or a sandblasting setup, but it's going to be expensive since I don't have a lot of the tools and probably the space and whatnot. But yeah, I'll figure it out as time goes on. It's a fairly short, as in, you know, not tall blade. That's definitely why I couldn't clamp it in there and get a 15-degree angle on it without basically just grinding through the clamp instead of actually touching blade steel. That's perfectly fine. It definitely lends itself to some different cuts. A lot more precision kind of thing in there rather than just manning up and shoving it through something. This does have a little bit more deliberate sort of thing. The blade kind of does remind me, as I flick my phone here, sorry about that, does kind of remind me of like an enlarged Swiss Army knife, especially like the SD Classics, anything like that. You know, obviously this is a much longer, thicker stock, hell of a lot better blade steel than 1.4116 that Victorinox uses. But still feels like I can do a lot of the same things with this. And yeah, I mean, the handle's pretty comfortable. We got 3-finger grip for me. You can sneak up and get the full 4 fingers on there if you want, but that's not super comfortable. That does kind of put you a little bit far away from the blade. Like I've said in the past, that doesn't bother me, mostly because I'm so used to dealing with finger choils and whatnot from a Spyderco, and also not using them, so that Certainly doesn't bother me a whole lot, but some people really, really do like to ride right up there. Let's see. I do kind of want to at least remove one of the scales here, because if I remember right, there's a little bit extra going on underneath. So that's something that's probably just a little bit fun to do. Following in Tucson's footsteps. I still don't honestly know if they're related or not in any way, shape, or form. But yeah, they use T8s for their hardware. So I really do appreciate that. So there's the pivot end there. There is definitely some Loctite going on in that situation. And I want to, well, I have a metal spudger next to me, so I'll use that, but well, you can definitely see that the micarta definitely matches up very, very nicely. I need to stop saying definitely. It's starting to feel like Rain Man over here or something. There we go. All right, so no, I was a little bit wrong on that. I thought there was another screw on the inside, kind of as a thing on the back spring for it, but apparently not. But hey, it's super easy enough to stop here. I don't have to worry about the rest. But you can see here something that I forgot to point out earlier, and that's that it does have a internal blade stop pin. So when this thing is all closed up, yeah, even squishing on it in your pocket, as some people with varying degrees of anxiety is probably familiar with. If you have something in your pockets, I've certainly done that with knives and stuff like that in the past. If well, they're funner to play around with my hands than my keys. I really don't have a whole lot of complaints about this thing. It took a while to get here, and that's, you know, the standard. This one I did pick up off of eBay, but I have seen them also listed on Amazon as well. Interestingly, from that Tangly seller on Amazon, which I bought some Tucson knives from, and they still came in that same envelope with Cindy's name on it from the same location. So I don't necessarily know if they are purchasing and then having them deal with the shippings or whatnot of them, or if Tucson and SixLeaf are some way kind of affiliated with each other, or, you know, at least in the same area, so they're using some of the same facilities. Not sure, but this thing's a pretty darn good larger sized slip joint, if that's something that you're looking for. Not a tall blade, which you know, a lot of people really, really prefer, especially for these sorts of things. I happen to like it. I do kind of wish that I think a little bit more manufacturers would go for some really light colored micarta, just to make it a little bit easier to try to dye different colors overall. You know, they stick with the brown. A lot of people will call it a natural micarta, but you know, you've also probably seen some tan or olive or something like that. That's a lighter color than this. So I mean, they can certainly do that, and that will help to give you some lighter hues that you want to writ dye these sort of things after the fact, which would be kind of nice. But I also understand, to my knowledge, that the color brown is quite popular for things in general in China, and has been for a couple of decades or something like that. I remember a lot of people really making fun of the Microsoft Zune, you know, their iPod competitor or whatnot back in the day, because the original colors were, I don't know, you had your black and gray and whatnot, and they had brown, and everyone was like, oh, it's poop. What? But yeah, over in China, a lot of things, including you know, knives and other small appliances and tools, fairly popular with that. Car colors, also the same sort of thing. So it's kind of interesting. That's probably why they're all their manufacturers' natural micarta is in brown, just because, well, it's for the market they know, and something that they know sells fairly well. So I guess just maybe a little food for thought if somebody wasn't quite familiar with the whole brownness thing of Chinese goods. I don't know. But I suppose I'll leave it at that. Yeah, this is the SixLeaf SL-07. I like it quite a bit. I suppose I should probably mention that here at the end. The back spring, really nice and strong on this thing. I would probably give it... it's fairly smooth action and whatnot, but still, the spring I would probably give a good at least 7.5. So it's definitely fairly safe as far as slip joints go. You're not going to worry too much unless you bash it up against something and you're really pulling it up quickly or something like that. That really helps out when you have, the ability to carry something locked. Yeah, so that's basically everything I got to say about it. So I'll go ahead and end it here and get rid of these horrible grape jelly looking fingernails. Since I don't particularly like looking at it, so I kind of doubt you guys do either. So, all right, yep, leave it at that. As always, I appreciate y'all for watching. Have yourself a wonderful rest of your day, yo. Yeah, that's good.